Hi, Bo here from High Tech Investment, and welcome back to the channel where today we're going to talk about magic drawdown. Drawdown is something that most traders certainly don't want to have. It is when things are going against you. And we're actually going to talk about one of the best robots that we have been working with. We have been working for that for a very long time. Last month was not really a very good month at all for us. But as always, there is things to learn. And that is what this video is all about here today, the magic of the drawdown. If you can prevent it, if you can predict it, and if you know that you are in a drawdown that's going to take you a long time to get out of, that is definitely some of the information that we will try to push here to you today through a couple of both metal indexes and also Forex currency pairs that will show you exactly how they developed over the last month or two, and then if they came out of the drawdown or if they crashed and burned. So if you are looking into exactly what I'm talking about here, there's a perfect example where we have a red line, and this is basically the robot is setting a range of sales. Price is going up, so definitely going in the wrong direction. The drawdown is basically increasing all the time. And then at one point, it looks like things are coming your way. They go back up all high. And at the end of the day, as this particular chart shows, we are getting out of it with a small little profit. But overall, this could have taken place over basically weeks or even months sometimes. And it's a good thing to know if you are in it. So at least you have a chance to figure out if you want to try and save the account by doing some type of hedging that we have previously announced in some of our other videos here, or if you want to do manual interventions in some way, shape and form. It is definitely a couple of things that are standing out to us when we are looking at the graph. That seems to be a good indicator of exactly where things has gone, and basically also if they recover again. Now we are talking about the profit retriever. We are talking about the profit retriever robot, the one we have traded for a very long time, more than a year now. And we had more drawdowns for this particular robot than we have seen in the entire year. And that's why also people need to learn a bit from it, because as good as it is, things can very, very quickly go wrong also if you have the wrong settings, if you have the wrong gaps, etc. So let's have a look at some of the different graphs and see exactly what we can learn from those ones. So the first chart that we're going to start off with here is XAUUSD, also called gold. It's on a daily chart, as you can see here. It goes quite far back in July, August, as you see here. And then it ends up basically here end of April. And this is the one account that is actually crashed. It crashed and burned up here. But let's have a quick look at it and see exactly how this has been trading all through the time. We have a small drawdown here and then quite a good trading. Again, small drawdown, and then it's following it quite nicely. And then a drawdown here from the sell side. Again, it's following it pretty okay all the way through. A lot of trades is going in. And then we can see by December 2022, it has gone into a bigger drawdown. It comes out of it here and basically goes lower. This time around, basically the EA has turned around the MA, so now it's in a buy. And again, it comes out of it fairly quickly. But as we then see here, there's a bit of a spike, and this goes back into end of February, beginning of March, where we have very sudden and quick movements downwards, and then right after that upwards here again. And that leaves the EA vulnerable, as you will see later on here. It sets a range of sells and basically continues to do that as the price continues to go against it here. And as the price was looking to slowly but surely come down, we got some numbers out of the US. Basically, the interest rates again here had a big influence on it. The gold jumped up to a level that it has only been at 2 times before. And at the same time also there was a bit of a margin call that came in and basically wiped out the account. A big movement without reasonable retracement. And that is the end of that account, unfortunately. But we can see a sudden spike first in one direction, and then the other one basically took the account out. And if we have a closer look at the next one here, which is silver, and silver is similar to gold. Also, when you're trading indexes, you have to run with some bigger account sizes. We normally on our website have $30,000 when you do this. And that is because the lot size is completely different from the normal Forex market. Most Forex markets, you can basically run your trading with 0.01, and most places you can't do that. Gold, silver is different from broker to broker. Indexes are the same thing. Sometimes they are even minimum 10 times higher. So obviously you can understand that you also need a lot more money for this. Silver chart here is on the 4-hour one, and that has done extremely well. That has gone past about $40,000 already. And we can see as it goes back here in October, it has gone quite well. And we see, again, a very quick drop in price. And it managed to close out the sell price itself. And then right after that, it shoots directly up. And the retracement is simply not enough here to get out of the individual trades. It continues to go up and at a high level, and then it comes back down here again, and this, we are now in the middle of February. It cashes in, at least just slightly positive, but again, this has been open for quite a long time, as you can see. Then it cashes in, it does exactly what it's supposed to be, and we can then see a sharp drop here again in early March, then a bit of sideways movements where it is currently waiting, and then again it rises up quite quickly. This is in the middle of March, and it continues to go up without, again, enough gaps and retracement here, so it doesn't cash in. And at the moment, this one here is in a huge drawdown also of about 20,000, and has been for quite a long time. Very interesting, because the market last year, it was cashing in all the time. It was doing somewhere between 2,000 and 4,000 per month, doing extremely well. We have made, of course, some adjustments along the way, but they are not major at all. So again, we can also see here that one sharp drop that comes in, similar to what you had here, and then spike the other way, is definitely one of the indications that seems to also end up with the silver chart itself. Moving on to Great British Pounds, AUD. Also here it's on a 4-hour chart. We can see that back when we actually started, this goes all the way back to March. You can see it's trading sideways quite a lot of times. It's cashing in quite well, even though when it starts to go down in price here, we only have a small little few drawdowns along the way, and then all of a sudden this happens here. So this is back in mid-September, a huge drop all of a sudden, and then a huge spike the other way around here. So again, you're starting to see the pattern here, that these spikes are simply too big for the EA. If they are in the right direction, definitely they're gonna cash in big time. But these are very, very hard to predict and continue simply to go up. The retracements in this case was not enough. It came very close down here at the end of the day. Don't forget that we are still running the old strategy. So at that particular time, we're not running the new alternate strategy that the profit retriever also can. But again, the price at the end of the day, we came good, and this started in September, and you can see that it came out of it around mid-February. So a long, long time again where we are waiting for the price to come in. One of the things you'll notice here also is that we just managed to cash in, apparently not in these particular ones, which is a bit strange when you look at the graph itself, but it could be because of spreads. And then you can see another big spike after that, but we managed to actually close it just in time. And that has something again to do with that when you are setting up the EA, try and get the gap size, which is very important, and also the take profit. These are the things that normally make sure that if it goes back, it will go back just enough so you can cash in here and then start the EA again. It seems to have done the trick. We did a lot of cashing in here, and then in March it started to go off again, as you can see, and we are far from actually being back into closing that deal. It has gone a bit better since this chart was basically copied. But again, these are some of the natures of the game where you will cash in a lot of times, and then all of a sudden you have a week or a month where things are not really going your way. Let's have a look at the US 30 daily chart, which has done extremely well also over long periods of time. But we do see that it also goes in a drawdown. And here again, it's, as I mentioned, on a daily chart. So we go back to early August. It was in a drawdown in here, and then it's cashing in quite nicely. You can see some of them are even cashing in somewhere around $250 up to $300. And as here we are getting into a buy where it should have been basically a sell, but it comes out of it with no real fear. We have seen a bit of a spike, a few of them here, but there is retracement very quickly and shortly after, so they never go really big. After that, we can see the price is rising, but the EA is set up. We have a small little drawdown in here, another one up here. And then obviously here where you're cashing in the most is when everything goes sideways for you. That is where the EA is really strong and making sure that it cashes in. So on a pretty much daily basis. After that, price is dropping and it's picking up everything in here. But again, at the end of the day, at one point, the direction is not the right one. We go into a drawdown on the sell one. And another good example here is again that when you have set up your gap sizes correctly and your take profit, you manage just to get in and close it off. So it is a bit of a sign where you have to make sure that your gap size is not too small, it's not too large. You are trying to find that middle way of where it can cash in before things are changing again. And that's what we also did here. And that is down to a bit of a math of how the currency is jumping up and down. The last one I want to show you here is the Aussie Japanese. Also, this one here was in a long one. It has done extremely well. You can see it's cashing in many times, 130, 140, most 130, 194 in here. Again, this is on a 1 hour chart, so a lot faster. And if we look at it, it has gone into a drawdown somewhere around mid-February. And also here we can see a sharp downwards angle. All of a sudden, the last blue we have is all the way up here. So we have a quick spike upwards and then a quick drop after that. And then there's not enough retracement in this particular one here. And then basically just slides all the way down here. Really bad one overall. But it, at the end of the day, managed to recover. And in this particular case, we actually had another spike here, so which was just in early May. And that meant that we went well above the line that you can see here. So that is the what we most probably should have been something like 15-20 bucks or so. We ended up with a lot more at the end of the day closure, and that is also where we found most probably around $2,000 for that particular week. Since then, it dropped again. The EA actually has managed to follow those trades all the way through. And that is basically the nature of the profit retriever. So as you can see, we try to do a bit of a mix here in between basically what didn't work. So the gold one that crashed, and then also the silver and the indexes, where you are basically going into long-term drawdowns here and can see exactly what initiates, and many times it is a spike in one direction, then followed instantly after in the other direction, and the price is simply moving too much in this short period of time, and the grid is not set for that, which means that it's not going to recover anytime soon. It's not about hours, days, it is more about weeks or month. And basically the idea of this video here is that you can take some of the graphs that I've shown you here, you can apply them to some of your own trading. And if you are a copy trader here also with Expert Forex, you can go and have a look and see this is actually the reason why we can't always predict exactly when things are going into drawdown, because as you saw on many of the charts here, so the EA is really cashing in. It's cashing in on a daily basis, and all of a sudden you have this huge spike. The moving average is going in the wrong direction, and obviously the robot is basically set to continue to go with either sell or buy once that is up. But I think it's very important to see that when you see some of these signs here, that is normally what you can then take and say, okay, this is going to be a long-term drawdown. Do I want to intervene some way, shape, and form? Do I want to hedge it? Do I want to put other means in place to make sure that it comes out of this one here, or do I simply leave it? So again, this is not trading advice. This is only information from our trading, hopefully that you can use to figure out some of your trading strategies in the future. So, but I hope that this has given you a good insight as to how the profit retriever works when it doesn't really work well, because obviously it's easy enough to always show the nice profits that we are getting. And that's also why I mentioned sometimes on our new series where we are looking back 4 weeks, that be careful to take one off just because it hasn't done anything good in a week. It will come back with a vengeance, and that's what you also see here. It will actually come back after the drawdown, and then it will do what it's supposed to do again. So you have to step back and look at the overall picture for weeks and months instead, to make sure that your profit retriever is actually profitable. So I hope that this has been interesting, and please give us a thumbs up, comments, like, whatever it is that you want to do here, and also provide us with some details as to how you see some of these trades. So I hope to see you on one of my next videos. Bye-bye.